Hey, Cowboys fans. If you've been keeping a close eye on the team lately, you know there's plenty to talk about, and the energy around the squad is buzzing. The NFC East has been tight, and while Dallas might be slightly ahead in the standings, the Eagles are never too far behind. Every game matters, every play counts, and right now, it feels like the season could swing in any direction. The intensity is real, and the team knows that keeping momentum requires more than just wins. It's about execution, health, and timing. Speaking of timing, all eyes have been on Overshawn and his road back from that ACL injury he suffered in Week 14 last season. This isn't his first rodeo with this type of injury. He tore the same ligament during his rookie preseason, and he's also had a couple of other ligaments in that knee give him trouble along the way. For Cowboys fans, the question has been simple but crucial. When will he return, and how much will he impact the defense once he's back on the field? The hope around the team is that Overshawn can rejoin around Thanksgiving for the big matchup against the Chiefs. That alone would be a huge boost to a linebacker room that has been showing flashes, but also vulnerability at key moments. Overshawn recently shared an update that has fans buzzing with cautious optimism. At a community event where he was helping flood victims in Central Texas, he hinted that he might actually return even sooner than expected. He said he doesn't want to lock in Thanksgiving as the target, but he does feel like he will be back playing football with the team before that holiday matchup. Now, whether that means he'll be back on the practice field or in the actual games is still uncertain, but just the idea of him getting ahead of schedule is enough to lift spirits. There's no question that Overshawn is one of the most impactful players on this Cowboys defense, and getting him back could be a turning point in how the team approaches the rest of the season. Right now, the linebacker room has been managing, but not without struggles. There have been moments where the coverage has looked shaky, particularly against deep passes, and when you look at the stats and performances of some of the other defenders, it becomes clear why having Overshawn back is so crucial. He's the kind of player who can anchor the middle, make plays behind the line of scrimmage, and add a presence in coverage that's been missing at times. Even if others are stepping up, having him fully integrated into the defense elevates everyone around him. When he was active last season before the injury, he was arguably the best player in the linebacker room, leading the team in tackles, notching sacks, forcing turnovers, and even returning a pick six. Those are the kind of high-impact plays that can swing a game in a matter of moments, and the team desperately needs that kind of firepower back on the field. Overshawn also gave some insight into his rehab process. He mentioned that he's moving fast and feeling strong, and that the knee is healthy, which is fantastic news. The focus now is on being smart with timing and easing back into game situations carefully. Returning from a second ACL injury in 2 years isn't just about being cleared to play. It's about returning at full performance without risking further injury. It's a delicate balance that coaches, trainers, and players have to manage carefully. But seeing his progress on a daily basis shows the kind of dedication and resilience that makes him a cornerstone for this defense. The defensive struggles have been evident, particularly in games where the linebackers are asked to contribute both in run support and in coverage. Some games, the effort is there, but the results haven't matched the potential. That's where Overshawn's presence could be transformative. Even when other players are performing well, his ability to read plays, anticipate movements, and execute at a high level changes how offenses have to plan against Dallas. It's not just about having another body on the field. It's about shifting the entire dynamic of a defense. Meanwhile, the injury report has also been a topic of discussion. Don Bland has been sidelined with a foot injury and didn't practice recently, and it looks like he might not be available for the next game, with a more realistic return expected next week. Trayvon Diggs has been dealing with an illness, but there are signs he'll be ready to go. Tyler Gayton had limited practice due to a shoulder issue, which is generally not a major concern, but something to monitor. The quarterback room has its own challenges, with more players injured than healthy at the moment, which could create opportunities for depth players like Zion Childress or Robert Rell to see the field. Injuries, as always, are part of the narrative, but the way the Cowboys navigate these hurdles often defines the course of their season. All of these updates highlight one central theme. Timing and health are everything in football. The Cowboys have the talent, they have the strategy, but injuries and recoveries like Overshawn's are critical factors that can tip the balance. Fans are keeping a close eye on each development, hoping that when key players return, the team will find that extra edge that separates good teams from great ones. The next few weeks will be telling, as each practice, each game, and each player returning from injury will play a role in shaping how the Cowboys approach the rest of the season. When you look at Overshaw's stats from last year, over 90 tackles, 5 sacks, 8 tackles for loss, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery, it's clear just how influential he can be. Adding his experience and instinctive playmaking back into the lineup elevates the defense immediately. The linebacker room is strong, but having a player of Overshaw's caliber back on the field allows coordinators to open up schemes, trust assignments, and put players in positions to succeed. The ripple effect of one key player returning cannot be understated, and that's why the excitement around his timeline is palpable. Pictures and updates from his training show steady progress. He's gradually shedding the protective leg sleeve he's worn for months, signaling that he's moving closer to full participation. These visual cues matter as much as the numbers because they show tangible evidence that he's on the path back. It's not just about hitting milestones. It's about the confidence that comes with seeing him active, moving fluidly, and ready to contribute. When he steps back onto the field, it's not just a morale boost for the fans. It's a statement to the team and the league that Dallas is getting a key piece of their defense back in place. As the season unfolds, every game, every snap, and every matchup will continue to shape the narrative. The Cowboys are managing injuries, balancing player health, and preparing strategically for each opponent. The spotlight on Overshawn is justified because of the potential impact he has on the field, and his recovery timeline will be a defining factor in how the defense performs down the stretch. Fans are hopeful, analysts are watching closely, and the players themselves are pushing to be ready at the right moment. Now, shifting the focus a bit, the Cowboys' cornerback and quarterback situations have been just as compelling, and for fans, the lineup health at these positions is critical. Don Bland's absence with a foot injury has created a gap in the secondary, and while he's expected to return next week, his current unavailability forces adjustments in coverage responsibilities. Trayvon Diggs, on the other hand, has been dealing with an illness, which has limited his practice time, but he seems likely to be ready for the upcoming game. These small setbacks might appear minor, but in reality, each practice missed or limitation in preparation affects the overall rhythm of the defense. Football is a game of timing and anticipation, and a player who isn't 100% can make the difference between a critical pass breakup and a big gain for the opposing offense. Tyler Gayton's shoulder issue has also been part of this mix. Limited practice doesn't necessarily indicate long-term concern, but it's a signal that even depth players are managing wear and tear from games and practices. When you combine this with the quarterback room, where injuries have created more challenges than usual, it's clear that the team's coaching staff has to be strategic not only about schemes, but also about personnel management. There could be situations where players like Zion Childress or Robert Rell might be called up to the active game day roster to ensure the team has full coverage at critical positions. These are not just roster moves. They're tactical decisions that could define the flow of a game and, by extension, the team's momentum in the standings. The quarterback room's injuries are especially significant because they affect the offense's ability to maintain consistency. Quarterbacks need rhythm with their receivers, timing with their offensive line, and confidence in the play calling. When key players are missing or not fully healthy, that rhythm can be disrupted. It's not just about who is available to play. It's about who can perform at the level needed to execute under pressure. The Cowboys have talented quarterbacks, but even the best signal callers rely on the health and cohesion of the players around them. Every injury, every limitation in practice, subtly shifts the dynamics on game day. Despite these challenges, there's a sense of optimism surrounding the team. Seeing players like Overshawn progress in their recovery, witnessing Diggs' likely return, and monitoring depth players stepping up creates a narrative of resilience. Football, after all, is a team sport in every sense of the word. The success of a team isn't just determined by star players. It's the coordination between starters and backups, the execution of schemes by each unit, and the adaptability when unexpected hurdles arise. Dallas has demonstrated over the years that it can weather these challenges, but the upcoming stretch of games will truly test the team's depth and decision-making under pressure. Injuries also shed light on the physical demands of professional football. Every snap is intense. Every collision has potential consequences, and players returning from injuries must balance aggressiveness with caution. For Overshawn, that balance is crucial. For other players managing smaller issues, it's about maintaining effectiveness while avoiding setbacks. Fans often focus on game day performance, but the work in practice, rehab, and conditioning is just as important. The Cowboys staff has to calibrate recovery timelines, monitor player health, and ensure that when athletes return to the field, they're truly ready to contribute at peak levels. Meanwhile, the defense has had to adapt dynamically. Without Overshawn, the linebacker room has faced challenges in coverage and run support. The secondary has been stretched with Blandout and Diggs limited, and the overall depth has been tested. Yet, these situations also provide opportunities for younger or less experienced players to gain valuable reps, learn under pressure, and prove they belong at this level. Football is unforgiving, but it's also a sport of growth, and Dallas seems to be fostering that mindset even amidst adversity. Every practice, every drill, and every in-game snap is part of a larger strategy to maintain competitiveness despite setbacks. Looking ahead, the Cowboys' schedule doesn't offer many breaks. Every opponent brings different threats, and preparation is paramount. The offense needs to establish continuity with quarterbacks and skill players. The defense needs to regain stability with the return of key athletes like Overshawn, and special teams must remain sharp to ensure field position battles don't tip games in the opposition's favor. This convergence of strategy, health, and execution defines the season's trajectory. Fans, analysts, and the players themselves understand that even small improvements or declines can have ripple effects that impact playoff positioning, matchups, and ultimately, the team's success. The narrative around recovery timelines, especially for high-impact players, has a psychological element as well. Overshawn's teammates, seeing his dedication and progress, gain confidence. Opposing offenses, aware that he might return, have to adjust their game plans. And fans, who invest emotionally week after week, get a sense of hope that their team can rise to challenges and compete at the highest level. It's a reminder that football isn't just physical. It's mental, strategic, and emotional. A single player's return can influence the mindset of an entire team, alter opponents' approaches, and change the storylines that dominate discussions around the league. Moreover, the importance of depth cannot be overstated. Injuries to starters emphasize the need for backups to step in seamlessly. The Cowboys have been navigating this with mixed results, but each week provides lessons. Players like Childress and Rell, stepping into the spotlight, gain experience that could prove invaluable not just this season, but in future campaigns. The ability to adapt, adjust, and execute with less-than-ideal rosters reflects the coaching staff's planning and the players' professionalism. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Whispers are swirling around the NFL, and it seems the Baltimore Ravens are making moves to tighten up their defense. Rumors have emerged that OSA ODIGHIZUWA, the talented defensive lineman, could be on his way to Baltimore in a trade that insiders are calling a potential game-changer for the team's defensive front. While nothing has been officially confirmed, sources close to the situation suggest the Ravens are aggressively pursuing the former standout, hoping his presence could bring a new edge to a defense that's had flashes of brilliance but struggled for consistency. ODIGHIZUWA's name has been linked to several teams in recent weeks, but the buzz around Baltimore appears to be gaining momentum. Known for his explosive first step, ability to penetrate offensive lines, and knack for disrupting quarterbacks, he would seem to fit perfectly into the Ravens' defensive scheme. Analysts have been speculating that the move could be Baltimore's answer to bolstering their pass rush, particularly with the season heating up and the team looking to make a statement in a competitive AFC North. Fans are already imagining the impact ODIGHIZUWA could have. Could he become the next centerpiece of the Ravens' defensive identity? Or will this be a short-term shakeup designed to add depth and versatility? Social media chatter indicates that many supporters are cautiously optimistic, praising his athleticism and potential while acknowledging the risks inherent in any mid-season roster shuffle. Meanwhile, rival teams are reportedly keeping a close eye, aware that a player of his caliber could shift the balance of power within the division. The intrigue isn't just about what he brings on the field. Questions abound regarding contract details, fit within the locker room, and how quickly he could adapt to new schemes and coaching styles. Sources hint that negotiations have been fast-moving, which could signal that Baltimore is intent on making this deal official sooner rather than later. Whatever the outcome, one thing is certain. If ODIGHIZUWA does join the Ravens, the team's defense will instantly become a talking point across the league. Speculation is building, and the NFL world is watching closely, waiting for what could be one of the most intriguing mid-season moves in recent memory. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.